The Dover Marshal's Office has released a statement on the arrest of Justin from the Random Patriot. Now, I did post a video when Justin was arrested if you want to see that video if you missed it. The statement that was shared to the Book of Faces by the Dover Marshal's Office says, public statement from the Dover Marshal's Office, arrest of Cody Duos and Justin McHenry, clarifying the facts. The Dover Marshal's Office strives to maintain public safety, enforce the law, and operate transparently. Recent arrests of Cody Duos and Justin McHenry have led to a spread of misinformation, prompting us to release a comprehensive account of the incidents to ensure the public understands the facts. Background of events. For approximately 2 weeks leading up to December 4th, 2024, Cody and Dylan Duos engaged in behavior clearly aimed at provoking members of the Dover Marshal's Office. This included repeated incidents of publicly making obscene gestures, specifically flipping off law enforcement officers. While the Marshal's Office acknowledged their right to express themselves, no enforcement action was taken during this period despite their clear intent to antagonize officers. On December 4th, 2024, the Duos brothers were observed once again driving through Dover, making obscene gestures toward Captain Colin Lillard while operating a black Chevrolet truck with expired registration. Captain Lillard initiated a lawful traffic stop after confirming the expired registration. During the stop, the driver, later identified as Cody Duos, escalated his behavior by placing his middle finger inches from Captain Lillard's face and shouting profane and abusive language. Despite severe provocation, Captain Lillard acted with professionalism and restraint, issuing citations for expired registration and no proof of insurance. It is important to note that no enforcement action was taken against their obscene gestures or verbal abuse, despite their behavior being clearly intended to provoke. The entire interaction was filmed by Ethan Parker, an associate of the Duos brothers, who omitted this critical footage from his misleading Book of Faces videos and the Duos brothers' narrative. Instead, they began circulating a false narrative claiming they were, quote unquote, just going to City Hall to request records. Escalation at City Hall. After completing the traffic stop, Captain Lillard returned to the Dover Marshal's office. Shortly thereafter, a Polk County deputy conducted a registration check on the same Chevrolet pickup over the radio. Captain Lillard contacted the deputy to inform him of the occupant's hostile behavior. The deputy confirmed that the Duos brothers had flipped him off as well and expressed concern about their actions and intentions. Within minutes of this interaction, Cody and Dylan Duos, along with Ethan Parker, entered Dover City Hall under the pretense of requesting public records. While the city clerk explained the proper process for a records request, the group's behavior was disruptive, and due to the continuation of the harassment, Captain Lillard entered the lobby and asked if their business was concluded. When it was affirmed it was concluded, Captain Lillard requested they leave the premises. At this point, Cody Duos sat down and refused to leave until Captain Lillard approached him again asking and asked him to leave. Despite multiple directives from Captain Lillard, as Captain Lillard walked Cody Duos to the door, he again used profane and abusive language in the presence of city staff and citizens. Due to the cumulative nature of his disruptive behavior, Captain Lillard arrested him for disorderly conduct under Arkansas Code 571-207A3, which prohibits obscene or abusive conduct likely to provoke a violent or disorderly response. This arrest marked the beginning of the false narrative and selectively edited videos shared by Ethan Parker and others omitting the group's deliberate attempts to provoke law enforcement over the preceding weeks and during the incident. Incident on December 9th, 2024. On December 9th, 2024, Justin McHenry, an associate of the Duos brothers, entered Dover City Hall with additional individuals. Their behavior was consistent with prior provocations, including tampering with a patrol vehicle, shouting profane language, and disrupting City Hall operations. When instructed to leave, Mr. McHenry refused, leading to an escalation that resulted in his arrest for disorderly conduct and obstructing governmental operations. During McHenry's being taken into custody, Captain Lillard advised McHenry that he was under arrest and placed him in physical custody. While escorting McHenry into the building for processing, McHenry thrust his right shoulder into Captain Lillard's left chest and drove his right elbow into Captain Lillard's left side, causing him to rotate 90 degrees to the left and strike his back against the door frame. In response, Captain Lillard immediately secured McHenry against the glass wall to maintain control and safely operate the interior door for entry. As Captain Lillard and McHenry moved toward the second door, Captain Lillard heard the group of agitators rushing up behind him. Concerned for the safety of everyone involved, Captain Lillard placed McHenry on the floor to address the perceived threat posed by the approaching group. Issuing firm verbal commands, Captain Lillard successfully directed the agitators out of the building, restoring order to the immediate area. Once the situation was under control, Captain Lillard assisted McHenry from the floor and continued escorting him to the marshal's office for processing, addressing the false narrative. The Dover Marshal's Office emphasizes that all actions taken during these incidents were lawful and necessary. Neither Cody Duos nor Justin McHenry were arrested for exercising their free speech rights. Their arrests were a direct result of their disruptive, unlawful conduct and refusal to comply with lawful orders. The group's attempt to portray these events as retaliatory actions against their free speech is demonstrably false. Their behavior was deliberately provocative and aimed at creating confrontations for content creation and profit. Selective video footage and incomplete narratives circulated online omit key facts, including their repeated provocations and Captain Lillard's professional restraint throughout the incidents. Moving forward, the Dover Marshal's Office remains committed to professionalism and transparency. We encourage members of the public to review the full legal proceedings, which will provide an accurate and comprehensive account of these events. False and misleading narratives serve only to sow division and undermine public trust in law enforcement. Respectfully, Dover Marshal's Office. So that is the statement in full. Here's my opinion on the statement. I think it's BS. I don't care what happened before the video started rolling in the case of Justin McHenry. I really don't, because the video shows him being arrested and slammed against glass. You know, I don't believe for 1 second that he thrust his shoulder or elbowed the Captain Lillard. I don't, because you can see in the video he is not fighting being arrested at all. He's not fighting being arrested because, in his opinion, and I don't disagree, the arrest was a violation of his free speech. I can't speak for Justin McHenry. I can only speak for myself. If it were me in that position and I was holding the sign at the Dover Marshal's Office and I got, arrested, I would make sure that my behavior was grade on. 1, because it's being recorded. 2, because I think that I'm being arrested for a violation of my rights, and the first thing I'm doing after leaving is contacting an attorney. I'm not saying that that's what Justin did. I'm saying if I was doing that, if that were me, that's what I would have done. So I would have made sure that I wasn't, thrusting my shoulder or my elbow or anything else. I would make sure that I looked as innocent as possible. So Captain Lillard is full of crap if he wants to sit here and say that Mr. McHenry was doing anything other than just allowing himself to be arrested, because ultimately, if that's a violation of his civil rights, that's a payday for Mr. McHenry, in theory. Secondly, I would say that whoever it was that drafted this kind of sounds like Captain Lillard, because it's awfully defensive of Captain Lillard and only from his point of view. I would tell them, why are you worried about public perception at this point in time? You weren't worried about it when you were acting like a jackhole. And, obviously it seems like I would guess that you haven't contacted an attorney, your city attorney maybe, before posting this, because a city attorney, anyone worth their salt, would tell you to shut your mouth and keep your typing fingers off any keyboard. Again, that's just my opinion, but you're not doing what you think you're doing with making this statement. It wasn't anything that really needed to be addressed. It should have just been worked out in a court rather than the court of public opinion. Like professionally, if you want to say you're acting professionally, that's what a professional would do, in my opinion. In my opinion. Now, I have respect for police officers. I don't like all of them, but I do have respect for the job, the position, and the hard work that must be. So with that in mind, I think that Captain Lillard needs to retire or not be a police officer, because he does not have the ability to control his temper. He arrested these people as a violation of their civil rights because they made him mad. He didn't like them flipping him off. He felt like that was disrespectful. And what did he do? Well, he showed them by arresting them, by making things more difficult for them, in his opinion. That's what I think. I think that that's what he did to Justin McHenry. He arrested him. He slammed him up against the glass. He threw him on the floor. If you've seen the video, that's what the video shows, to show who the boss was. That's my opinion. In my opinion, that's the reason that those actions were taken by Captain Lillard. And for that reason, Captain Lillard needs to not have his job, because he doesn't have control of himself. Again, that's just my opinion. Feel free to share your opinion on what happened. Even if you don't like auditors, something that you need to understand is that they're not only defending their own rights, they're defending your rights. Because a lot of departments, not just police departments, but other departments as well, courts and city offices and stuff, they don't know the law necessarily, and they are all too happy to not follow the law because they don't necessarily know the law. They don't necessarily know your rights, and so it's no problem for them to violate your rights. I think that there is a place for auditors, also a place for police officers. So that's just my opinion. Like I said, share your opinion. I look forward to seeing what everyone thinks.
Yeah. If you don't have business here, you're not going to come up here and harass. That's what you said. Ain't gonna happen.
But you didn't ask me. You didn't ask me that. You didn't ask me I had business.
Just get out. I'm
Okay,
telling
but you
you.
came back to fuck up off of me too.
Dude, you're not going to curse if I place you go to jail.
Freedom of speech.
You're under arrest. Disorderly conduct.
I'm saying freedom of speech.
Yeah, okay. All right. You got tough on you? All right. Yeah, I said you guys get out.
Oh, now you're telling us to get out.
I'm publicly.
Okay. Videotaping.
I am.
Videotaping right there.
You're not walking up on me while I'm arresting somebody.
Okay, well, we're going to stand back, but this is public property, buddy.
It is.
Are you fucking kidding me right now? You just walking in that off like that? You have no fucking respect for yourself, sir.
I'm taking your fucking bags, bud.